The judge banged his gavel, and the courtroom went totally quiet. Everyone knew something big was coming. One of the sister wives was about to drop a bomb that could ruin the whole family. Kody Brown, who was right in the middle of it all, was starting to realize he couldn't keep things under wraps anymore. If you think you know the sister wives drama, think again, because the courtroom is about to spill all the tea. The courtroom smelled like old books and nervous perfume. It was early, but the place was packed. The vibe in the room was uneasy, like even the building was holding its breath. People sat up straight on the benches, trying not to look terrified. No cameras were allowed, but you could feel the stress in the air. The judge was at the front, sitting up high, looking at everyone like he was trying to figure them out. He hadn't said anything yet, but his silence made everyone on edge. Then the bailiff announced the case. Kody Brown versus the sister wives, he called out. The room went silent, and everyone looked over at Kody. You could hear people gulping and see their eyes shifting. Kody was sitting at the defense table with his lawyer. He seemed calm, but his hands were shaking a little. He kept rubbing them together, like he was cold. He was staring at the front door, like he was waiting for something or someone. He was trying to keep his face blank, but you could see the fear in his eyes. On the other side, the three wives were sitting together. Pristine looked cold, like she was already done. Janelle's eyes were red, but she was trying not to show it. Mary looked like she was about to cry, but she wasn't letting herself. They were close together, but it felt like they were miles apart. And then there was Robin. Robin was sitting off to the side, away from the others. Her face was blank, but her eyes had a fire in them that no one had ever seen before. She looked like she'd had enough, and she was ready to fight. She was holding her head high, but you could tell her heart was racing. The judge cleared his throat. We're here to listen to what people have to say, and to look at proof about claims of emotional abuse, messing with money, and controlling behavior in a marriage with multiple wives, he said, looking right at Kody. Kody's face didn't change, but inside, he was panicking. The prosecutor stood up. She was young, smart, and determined. She wasn't there to be nice. She was there to win. Your Honor, she said, this family has been suffering in silence for years. We're going to show that Mr. Brown abused his power to control his wives, play games with the money, and keep the truth from everyone else. Today, we're going to bring it all out into the open. The courtroom started buzzing. The wives looked at each other, like they couldn't believe this was really happening. The stress went up, and it felt like the room was about to blow up. Kody's lawyer jumped up, trying to take control. This is a family situation, he said. We're not here to expose a marriage. We're here to talk about a disagreement about the law. But the prosecutor wasn't finished. Situation, she said, her voice getting louder. Mr. Brown's actions have hurt a lot of people, and now everyone needs to know about it. The judge nodded. Go on, he said. The first person to talk was called. It was a close friend of one of the wives, someone who had seen the family from the outside. She came forward, swore to tell the truth, and started talking. Her voice was a little shaky, but her words were clear. She talked about how Kody controlled the money, how he decided who could work, who could spend, and who could save, how he wanted everyone to be loyal, even when his wives were obviously hurting. She said it was a house where everyone was supposed to be thankful, but no one was allowed to say what they really thought. And then she dropped the first big secret. She told me she was scared, the friend said. She said she felt trapped. She said Kody would threaten her if she didn't do what he said. The courtroom went quiet. Kody's eyes got wide for the first time. He turned to look at Robin, like he wanted her to say it wasn't true. But Robin didn't move. The prosecutor called the next person, someone who used to work for the family. This person talked about the money, the secret accounts, and how Kody used money to control people. The story started to come together. A man who used religion to hide what he was really doing, but used control to get his way. And the wives, they were all stuck in the middle. The judge looked down at his notes, and then he looked at Kody. You know you're under oath, he said. Kody nodded. Then the prosecutor asked the question that everyone in the room had been waiting for. Mr. Brown, Did you ever threaten your wives to keep them from leaving? Kody's face went white. He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. The silence was awful. And then someone in the back of the courtroom whispered so quietly that almost no one heard it. Here we go. You could feel it building like a storm. The case had only just started, and already the family's secrets were starting to come out. If you think you know everything, just wait, because the next person to talk is someone no one expected, and what they say is going to change everything. The courtroom's still buzzing from the first round of testimony, but the vibe just shifted. It's colder now, way more intense. Feels like everyone's waiting for the other shoe to drop. The judge glances at his notes, then at the prosecutor. He can sense the tension and knows this case is far from over. The prosecutor calls the next witness, and the whole room goes silent. Nobody saw this coming. It's not a family member, not a friend, not an ex-employee. It's someone who is supposed to be out of the picture for good. Someone who vanished years ago, all mysterious-like. And boom, they're back. Everyone in the courtroom stares at the door. The bailiff opens it real slow. The witness walks in, surprisingly calm all things considered. They're dressed okay, but look tired, face pale. Like they've been living in fear for ages. The room chills fast. Nobody expected this. Nobody wanted this. The witness swears in, voice shaky. I shouldn't be here, they start, but I couldn't keep quiet anymore. The judge leans forward, interested. Name, he asks. The witness hesitates, the whole room holding its breath. Then they say it. A name the family never says. A name buried. A name erased. The courtroom gasps, because everyone thought this person left the family on their own. But the truth's different. The witness starts their story. They talk about being forced out, how Kody threatened them, used religion and fear to mess with them, how they were isolated, cut off, and shamed, nights spent crying, begging for a way out. Then comes the big reveal. It wasn't just about control, the witness says. They were hiding something too. The prosecutor leans in. Hiding what? She asks. The witness looks around the courtroom, then whispers. A secret about one of the wives, they say. A secret that could blow the whole family apart. The wives sit up straight, faces pale. Kody's expression changes too. Eyes widen. Looks like he's trying to stay calm. The witness goes on. I was told to shut up, they say. Told I'd be destroyed if I ever spoke. The prosecutor asks for details. The witness takes a deep breath and says the words that make the courtroom feel like it's going to collapse. One of the wives was meeting with a lawyer for months, the witness says, planning a lawsuit, getting evidence. She was going to sue the family for emotional abuse and screwing her over financially. The room explodes. Christine looks angry, Janelle's stunned, Mary like she's about to faint. Robin's eyes just get wide, doesn't move. The prosecutor presses for details. The witness says the wife collected messages, recordings, documents. Proof of messing with people and abuse. Building a case to expose the family. And now, the courtroom's hearing it. The judge's face turns serious. The prosecutor asks for the evidence. The witness reaches into their bag, real slow, like the moment's too much. They pull out a thick folder full of papers, photos, documents. The bailiff brings it to the judge. He opens it, looks inside. His eyes widen. Emails, bank statements, recordings of private talks, showing how they controlled, threatened, and messed with people. A man using his power to own his wives. The prosecutor looks at the judge. Your Honor, she says, this is proof of emotional abuse, screwing people over financially and forcing them to do things. The judge nods slowly. The courtroom's silent. Kody looks like he's losing it. Face pale, his lawyer stands up. This is private, he argues, not public business. The prosecutor cuts him off. Private, she repeats. When a guy controls his wives like this, it's public business. It's about safety. The judge looks at Kody. You're under oath, he says. Answer the question. The prosecutor turns to Kody. Mr. Brown, she asks, did you ever threaten your wives to keep them from leaving? Kody's mouth opens, but nothing comes out. He looks at Robin, hoping she'll help. But she just stays still. The courtroom waits. Silence drags on. Then someone in the back whispers, Here we go. Quiet, but it cuts through the room. The tension spikes. The case is just starting, but the truth's already pouring out. The witness goes on. She reads a message from Kody to one of the wives. It's mean, controlling, shocking. It says, "If you leave, you'll lose everything." The room goes silent. The wives look at Kody, shocked, faces filled with fear, anger, betrayal. Kody's eyes are wide, hands shaking. The judge looks at him, serious. Then the witness turns to Robin, speaks slow, like she's getting the room ready for what's coming. "She's not the only one with proof," the witness says. The prosecutor leans forward. "Proof of what?" she asks. The witness looks at Robin, who stands up. Voice calm, eyes burning. "Kody," she says, "you can't play innocent anymore." The courtroom goes quiet. Robin looks at the judge. "I have something to say," she says. The judge looks surprised. "You're under oath," he says. Robin nods. "I know," she says, "and I'm done being scared." The room holds its breath. Robin inhales and speaks. "I have proof too," she says, "and it's worse than what you've seen." The prosecutor's interested. "Proof of what?" she asks. Robin's voice shakes a little, but she keeps going. "I know about the secret," she says. "The secret he's hiding." The courtroom's silent. The wives look at Robin like they don't know her. Kody's face pales. Robin turns to the judge and speaks confidently. "Kody's been living another life," she says. "Another woman." The courtroom explodes. Christine screams, "What?" Janelle tears up. Mary covers her mouth. Kody looks like he's gonna faint. The judge bangs his gavel. "Order," he yells. But it's too late. The family's world just shattered. It's not just about control and abuse anymore. Now it's about betrayal. Now it's about lies. Now it's about a man with a double life. And the courtroom's watching. The courtroom still felt like it was shaking after Robin's bomb drop. You could cut the tension with a knife. Shock, anger, nobody could believe it. People were whispering, but who cared what they said? The truth was out, and everyone was waiting for the next punch. The judge banged his gavel, trying to get things back under control. "Order," he shouted, his voice bouncing around the room. "We'll keep going with the testimony." Kody looked like he'd just been sucker punched. He sat down real slow. His lawyer said something to him, but he was out of it, mind racing, heart pounding. The prosecutor called the next witness. It was a woman who used to work for Kody. She was quiet, but you could see the hurt in her eyes. She walked to the stand and swore to tell the truth. The courtroom watched her. She started talking. "I had to hide papers," she said. "I had to delete texts. I had to change the numbers. I was scared." The judge looked serious. The prosecutor asked, "Why were you scared?" The woman looked down. "Because Kody threatened me," she said. "He said if I talked, he'd ruin me." The room went quiet. The wives looked at each other, their faces white. This was hitting hard. The woman kept going. "He told me he was in charge," she said. "He said he was the boss and nobody could stop him. He said he could do whatever he wanted." The prosecutor leaned in. She asked. The woman took a deep breath. "He made me hide money," she said. "He made me hide how much he was making. He made me set up fake bank accounts. He made me hide property." The judge's eyes got wide. The prosecutor looked at the judge. "Your Honor," she said, "this looks like financial fraud." Kody's lawyer jumped up. "That's just what she heard," he said. "It's not proof." But the prosecutor wasn't done. "We've got proof," she said. "We have the papers, the records, everything." The prosecutor nodded to the bailiff. The bailiff brought over a folder. It was a thick one, packed with papers. The judge looked at the folder, then at Kody. Kody turned white. The prosecutor opened the folder and started reading. "These are the bank records for those hidden accounts," she said. "These are records showing secret payments. These are records showing money getting moved around." The room was dead silent. The wives looked at each other like they were watching a train wreck. The prosecutor kept going. "Mr. Brown was using the family's money like it was his," she said. "He used their trust as a cover." The judge looked at Kody. "Is this true?" he asked. Kody opened his mouth, but he didn't say anything. He looked trapped. The prosecutor kept at it. "We also have proof that he tried to cover something up," she said. We have proof that a family member was missing, and Mr. Brown knew about it. The room felt colder. The wives looked like they were about to cry. The judge looked like he was about to lose it. The prosecutor turned to the witness. "Did you know about the missing family member?" she asked. The woman hesitated. Then she spoke. "Yes," she said, "and I was told to keep my mouth shut." The courtroom went silent. The judge looked at the witness. "Who told you that?" he asked. The witness looked at Kody. "Kody did," she said. Kody's face went white. His lawyer stood up. "She's lying," he shouted. "It's not true." But the prosecutor wasn't letting up. "We have proof," she said. She nodded to the bailiff again. The bailiff brought over another folder. This one was full of audio recordings. The prosecutor opened the folder and played a clip. The room listened, not making a sound. A voice came on. It was Kody's voice. He was talking to someone on the phone. "I need you to keep quiet," he said. "If anyone finds out, it's all over." The room was totally silent. The wives looked like they were going to pass out. Kody's face turned red. He looked ready to explode. The prosecutor stopped the recording. Then she looked at Kody. "Mr. Brown," she said, "is that your voice on this?" Kody's lawyer jumped up again. "That can't be used," he argued. "It's against the law." But the judge looked at the prosecutor. "This is relevant," he said. "We'll allow it." Kody sat down. He looked like it was just hitting him how bad of a spot he was in. The prosecutor kept going. "We have proof of a secret thing going on," she said. "We have proof of secret meetings. We have proof of money changing hands in secret." The room felt like it was shaking again. The wives looked like they were about to faint. The judge looked like he was about to fall apart. And then the prosecutor called her last witness for the day. It was a private investigator. He walked in like he owned the place. Real calm, like he'd already won. He took the stand and started talking. "I followed Mr. Brown for months," he said. "I wrote down where he went, who he met with, what he said." The prosecutor leaned forward. "And what did you find?" she asked. The investigator looked at the court. "I found a secret relationship," he said. "I found a woman. I found the proof. And I found out that Mr. Brown was lying." The room was silent. The wives looked at each other. Kody looked like he was going to pass out. The investigator kept going. "I have photos," he said. "I have recordings." The prosecutor looked at the judge. "Your Honor," she said, "all the evidence shows deceit, betrayal, and lies." The judge nodded. Then the investigator said something that froze the room. "There's a woman," he said, "and she has what you need to finish him." The room went deathly silent. The wives looked like they were about to flip. Kody's face went white as a ghost. The judge looked at the prosecutor. "What's her name?" he asked. The prosecutor looked at the investigator. He looked back at her, and then he dropped a bomb that made everyone gasp. "She's here," he said. The room went still as a tomb. The judge's eyes opened wide. Kody's face was whiter than white. The wives looked at each other in total shock, and the prosecutor smiled, because the next session would reveal the identity of the secret woman, and her story would take down Kody for good. The courtroom was a madhouse. You could feel the secrets hanging in the air, thick enough to choke on. Whispers flew around, but they were lost in the overall tense vibe. Everyone was hanging on for the next big reveal. The judge stared down the prosecutor, waiting for her cue. She stood up, face like stone. "Your Honor," she announced, "we call our next witness." The room went dead silent. The doors swung open. In walked a woman who'd been hidden away, a woman kept in the shadows for years, a woman with the goods. She walked with confidence, like she already had this in the bag. She took her seat. The judge eyed her. "State your name," he instructed. The woman looked straight back at him, calm as you please. "And I was Kody Brown's secret." You could hear a pin drop. Kody's face went white. The wives looked like they'd been slapped. Christine's face twisted with anger. Janelle's eyes welled up. Mary's jaw dropped, like she couldn't believe her ears. Robin's eyes widened, but she didn't seem surprised. The judge turned back to Ava. "And what's your story with Mr. Brown?" he asked. Ava inhaled deeply. I was his secret wife, she confessed. Hidden away in a different house, not part of the show. I was kept under wraps. The room gasped. The judge leaned in. You're saying you were married to him? Ava nodded. Yeah, she said. He made promises, a future. He promised he'd dump the others. The prosecutor locked eyes with her, determined. When did this all start? She pressed. Ava's gaze dropped, lost in memory. Years back, she began, when the family was still big news. People were glued to them. He'd sneak around to see me, told me to keep quiet, saying it was for the family. The room seemed to freeze over. The judge followed up. Did you know about the other wives? Ava glanced at Kody. Of course, she replied, but I was told I was special, that he'd pick me in the end. The wives stared at Kody, horrified. His face flushed with fury. He shot to his feet. That's a lie, he shouted. She's making things up. Ava glared back at him, anger blazing in her eyes. No, she retorted. You're the one lying. You gave me your word, said you loved me. The prosecutor turned to Kody. Mr. Brown, she stated, did you promise her you'd leave your other wives? Cody's lawyer jumped up. That's not relevant, he argued. It has nothing to do with the case. The judge looked to the prosecutor. It's proof of lying, manipulation, and betrayal. The judge nodded. Move on, he said. Ava took a deep breath. I have proof, she declared. Texts, photos, recordings, you name it. The prosecutor motioned to the bailiff, who brought over a folder. Ava handed it over, and the prosecutor opened it up. Inside were messages from Kody to Ava, full of promises, lies, and stringing her along. The prosecutor started reading them out loud. I love you, she read. You're the one. The room felt like it was swaying. Then she read another one. Don't tell the others, she read, or I'll ruin you. The wives looked like they would pass out. The judge fixed Kody with a stare. He looked like he was about to blow a gasket. The prosecutor kept going. We have recordings, she said. He threatened her, and we can prove it. Ava nodded. He threatened me. Said he'd destroy me if I talked. The room was silent as a grave. The judge turned to Kody. Is this true? He asked. Cody's face was pasty. He looked at the wives, then at Ava, then down at the floor. He didn't say a word. The prosecutor kept at it. We also have proof he used the family's money to take care of her, she said. Bank records, receipts, the whole shebang. The room was still. The wives looked like their worlds were crumbling. Robin seemed to be finally waking up to the truth. Christine's face was a mask of anger. Janelle looked like she was about to burst into tears. Mary was struggling to breathe. The judge refocused on Ava. You mentioned others? He asked. Ava nodded. Yeah, she said. More than just me. The prosecutor leaned forward. She asked. Ava hesitated, then dropped a bomb that froze the room solid. One of them is already in the family, she revealed. One of the wives knows about it. The room went silent. The wives looked at each other, trying to read minds. Kody looked like he was about to pass out. The judge turned back to the prosecutor. What's her name? He pressed. Ava looked at the judge. I can't say, she whispered. Not yet. The prosecutor looked puzzled. Why not? She asked. Ava's voice got even softer. Because I'm scared, she admitted. He threatened me, said he'd ruin me. The room went quiet again. The judge pinned Kody with a look. Mr. Brown, he said slowly, you have the right to respond. Kody stood up, but it was weak. I didn't do this, he stammered. It's all lies. She's making it all up. Ava met his gaze dead on. You're the liar here. The room stilled. The judge looked at the wives and they looked back at him. He took a deep breath. This case is ongoing, he declared. We'll hear more evidence. The wives sank back into their seats, shaking. Kody slumped down, looking defeated, and the courtroom held its breath. The courtroom felt like it could collapse any minute. The air was so thick with tension, you could slice it. Everyone was waiting for the hammer to drop. This case had been a total mess, and the judge was about to make it all crash down. The judge glanced at the prosecutor. Go on, he said. The prosecutor stood up. This case has shown so much lying, control, and backstabbing, she stated. We've heard from witnesses, employees, and even a secret wife. Now for the final piece. She called the last witness. A lawyer walked in, cool and serious, like he'd seen it all and knew how to win. He sat down. The judge asked his name. The lawyer stood. "I'm Mr. Harrison," he said. "I'm here for one of the wives." The room went dead quiet. The wives shot each other wide-eyed looks. The judge looked at Mr. Harrison. "What evidence do you have?" he asked. Mr. Harrison opened his briefcase and handed the prosecutor a big folder. She opened it and started reading. "This contains texts, recordings, papers, and stuff that proves Mr. Brown was twisting their arms," she said. "It proves he controlled, threatened, and played games with his wives." The room was silent. The wives looked like everything they'd kept hidden was being blasted out. Mr. Harrison went on. "We have messages where Mr. Brown was using fear to boss them around," he said. "Recordings where he was yelling at them. Evidence that he stashed money, lied about where it went, and used their trust as a way to hide." The judge checked Kody. Kody's face turned bright red. He stood up. "That's not true," he shouted. "This is a pile-on." Mr. Harrison looked at him. "Mr. Brown, you've been controlling your wives for years. You've been keeping secrets and pushing them around." The judge looked at Kody. "Got anything to say to that?" he asked. Kody opened his mouth, but didn't say anything. He appeared cornered. The prosecutor kept going. "There's also evidence that one of the wives was forced to sign papers she didn't know or understand, just to control her." The wives looked at each other, shocked. The judge looked at the prosecutor. "Who signed?" he asked. The prosecutor looked at the wives. "Mary," she said. Mary went white and looked like she wanted to disappear. The prosecutor continued. "Mary was forced to sign things that took away her rights and let Mr. Brown control her." Mary looked like she was about to pass out. Janelle grabbed her hand. "You okay?" Janelle whispered. Mary nodded, tears welling up in her eyes. The prosecutor continued. "We also have messages from Kody to Mary, telling her she'd lose everything if she told." The room went silent. Mary burst into tears. The judge looked at Kody. "Mr. Brown, what do you say?" he asked. Kody looked down. He didn't say a word. The prosecutor kept going. "We also have evidence of secret money, hidden accounts, proving that Mr. Brown hid money and used family cash for his own fun." The room got colder. The wives eyed each other, watching a train wreck happen. The prosecutor looked at the judge. "Judge," she said, "we have proof, Mr. Brown. Brown played his wives." The judge nodded slowly. Then the judge spoke. "This court has heard a lot today," he stated. "He has lived a lie, kept secrets, and played games with his wives." Kody's face turned pale. The judge went on. "The court will decide what's next," he said. The room was silent. The wives looked at each other. They seemed relieved. But the end was still coming. The judge stood. He looked at Kody, the wives, and the court. Then he said something that changed everything. "The court finds Mr. Brown guilty of abusing his power and playing games with his wives. The court finds Mr. Brown guilty of being dishonest." The room exploded. The wives started crying. The courtroom was a mess of tears, screaming, and relief. Kody stood there, speechless, like he'd lost everything. The judge finished. "Brown, you will pay money back. Talk to a counselor and stay away from the wives." The wives held each other, happy to finally be free. Robin looked relieved. Christine looked angry. Janelle looked sad. Mary looked heartbroken. The courtroom was silent. The judge banged his gavel. "Court over," he said. The wives walked out together, like a family again, but free this time. Kody was left alone. The case was done, but the consequences would last.